I find it interesting what you say about steering committee. I don't know if I would necessarily agree. I think I would agree. I think what you're talking about, and I think this is also semantics, that's something we have to develop in the future, is the understanding that there's different formats of different structural elements. For example, a steering committee. What you're talking about, I would call more the guiding steering committee or the operational steering committee. Those three people that want to be involved, that are kind of very aligned with the product owner or the project manager. I still think for political reasons and for integrations reasons that you would probably not as often as meeting with the operational steering committee. I would also have a kind of functional steering committee that, once a month, once every 2 months, once a quarter is informed so that they take note, hey, you've been informed.
But and they don't steer.
Yeah.
Therefore, I wouldn't call them steering committee.
Maybe
in
we
German
need...
it's Beirat or...
maybe we need to change...
It's a way of marketing.
Yeah, we need to change the name. And then what often happens with very large organizations is that you might also have... because, we always talk about the project sponsor. How often is the project sponsor really the most politically strong individual in the organization? Sometimes it's just a representative of God on earth, right? If it's a large organization, you have a board that's giving you a lot of money. They want to be informed as well. Not as often as the Beirat.
Yeah.
So you have the what I call the executive committee that gets informed, I don't know, every 4 months, right?
It's not a project role to me, The project role, I want to have those people that take on project responsibility in the project itself and perform certain tasks. But of course, you have to inform the project, executive committee or whatsoever, your board of directors. But you don't want the board of directors as a project sponsor. Forget about it, because you never get this management attention that you need as project manager. They never talk to you. They invite you, but they are not there. So that's ridiculous. This is harming everything. This is not helpful.
Yeah. This is a feedback I give you from that statement. I think it's great that after so many years of project management, you still have a pragmatic operational approach to it. You're kind of let's leave the frills away. Let's focus on what works. That's great.
I meet these situations anyhow in reality, but I have to have my point of view.
And that's what we invited you for. Let's go on to the third topic. I recently got a feedback on something I posted on LinkedIn. It was a very nice gentleman from Germany that congratulated on me on a podcast and basically asked the open question: what do I think are the trends of today / future? And I thought it was a great question. What do you see? Where's project management going? What do you think what's the world of project management going to look like in 10, 15, 20 years?
Well, basically, there are going to be projects, that's for sure. And all kinds of different projects. There will be different ways of managing those, of course. But I think what's important is you cannot do project management if you don't understand and optimize and have clarity about the processes which are to be performed in the project.
So we're coming back to the old common language, common process.
Yeah, but I'm talking about content-related processes. So if you are an engineering company and you have good project management applied, but if you don't have clarity about your detailed design or your procurement or your commissioning or whatsoever, these processes are not clear, are not in place, then you will never be successful in your project. So what I'm trying to say is we need governance structures which are integrated. And we were talking about one management approach where you have common basic values. If you want your principles of agile or whatever values they might be, that apply to project management, that apply to process management, that apply to change management. So the way on how you communicate, how much empowerment you give, how you integrate with your suppliers and your customers and so on. These are basic values that apply to all of these processes. And you mentioned PMO before, and therefore Sometimes companies talk about a management office, which integrates or looks at the integration of these functions, which does make sense, of course. So what I'm saying is there will be projects, but you need to be professional in the project, not only by managing them, but also to have good quality in the content-related processes. So an balanced overall management approach and an integrated view on those, I think definitely are required and would be helpful. In terms of
I like that you went right for the gusto. My response was I kind of tried to appeal, I guess, to the modern sentiment, because if I think you put a microphone in a lot of people's faces, the first thing they would say is AI. Okay, yeah. AI. I think AI has some validity. I think we're not anywhere close to understanding what validity we'll have for project management, but we're developing that. The other thing was industrialization 5.0, the whole dynamics. If you're working on projects, if you're building factories or restructuring your infrastructure, these are things that will have implementable impact. I think another future topic is the concept of working with dislocated or virtual teams. I think we've come a long way, but I think there's going to be a huge step forward, because it's kind of hard to live the agile philosophy dislocated. Yeah. I think that's the biggest challenge, and I think we're going to overcome some of that. I think the development of here and there new strategies in hybrid application. I think the concept of rapid problem solving and decision making, whether that be over VUCA or whatever else, I think that's some of the future trends. That's, I think, what most people want to hear from you.
Yeah.
My real answer is the problems of the essential, fundamental issues of humanity have been the same for the last 10,000 years. And the solutions have been the same for the last 10,000 years. Maybe in different formats, maybe better, less better formats, different versions of applying the game. And I think that's not going to change in the future. I absolutely agree with you. Project management is here to stay. And if somebody were to really ask me what the future of project management is, I think they would be shocked on how simplistic and archaic and maybe old-fashioned my response would be. I wish we would stop talking about it, and I wish we would do it more. I don't believe that the state of understanding, I don't think most organizations really embrace projects as they should. I don't think they maximize their potential. I think the concept of programs is prevalent, but is still very sophomoric, very junior in its conceptual application and integration between the project landscape and the line organization. And I think what all of you out there should be ashamed of, most of you should be ashamed of, is that you use the word portfolio management and you don't, in any form or fashion, most companies, I mean, there's some exceptions to the rule, really live its potential. And I think it's something that I have no qualms telling any board member. I mean, if I go to a board member and I ask you how many projects do you have in your portfolio, and you don't know how to answer it,
nobody knows.
That's, as we say in German, fahrlässig. You're not fulfilling your role. And I don't even mean that as a blame game. You're just losing out on so much potential. Do you know how many projects? What is your budget for projects? How do you distribute your project? How are you mentoring, and from an executive or senior management perspective, supporting the operational and strategic or tactical implementation of projects on the ground? You have a responsibility. We have a pyramid for a reason. There's different levels, and those hierarchies have a vertical distribution of responsibility. And I see very few executives that truly understand how valuable project portfolios are to them. I don't think they have sufficient KPIs. I think the future of project management, hopefully, is project portfolio, sensible application of project portfolio management. And it becomes a little bit more second nature. I mean, I had one of my first podcasts was Wolfgang Raschke from Siemens. I think Siemens is a good example. I mean, not everything in Siemens is plated in gold or 100% gold, but they have at least on a higher level, have a conceptual understanding that if you're a board member, you have you have portfolio responsibility, and that's financial portfolio, product portfolio, and project portfolio.
For me, project portfolio management is a strategic management function, and this needs to be understood, but it's not. And that's all that I can say to this topic.